Hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name, of course, is Stephen Compian, joined here by my two favorite co-hosts in the whole world. Dan Gill just got some brand new sunglasses. Dan, how you doing over there, bud?
I think some is an understatement. It's a lot.
Well, regardless, you do look extra snazzy with those sunglasses today. Aviators are quite awesome, if you ask me.
Well, thank you.
Aviators are where it's at.
And, of course, returning guest, co-host, slash one of the most handsome guys we've had on this podcast. We've had a lot, Dan. A lot of handsome people have come to this podcast. But Corey Compian! Corey, how are you today, sir?
Doing fantastic. I'm stalking Dan. I can see like his phone through his reflection.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I see a laptop, I see a phone. Is that a crack pipe? I didn't know you spoke crack.
Whoa. Can we just assume it's weed?
Whoa.
Jeez.
These are all allegations, okay?
All slanderous allegations placed upon your man, Dad.
Nobody knows.
As Pat McAfee says, allegedly.
Allegedly, it's a crack pipe.
Anyway, we got some sports that happened this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here to cover them and talk about them even, you know? Starting, of course, with the motherfucking Chicago Hounds pulling off an absolutely splendid win, giving us our second win overall. The city of Chicago was very happy to see this one. What didn't happen in Chicago, but it was in Utah. 26-24. What's cool about this game is that when they played them in Chicago, they really probably should have won that game too. So it was good to see them kind of keep their standing. So Chicago scored first. Utah with a quick response. Let's see what the second one here from Chicago. Comes out. And then out to Dominguez. Look at Dominguez just plowing through everybody.
Down in the left corner.
Just an absolute play by Mr. Dominguez. And that was his second try of the game. Look at this. He's held back a good 5 meters beforehand and just reaches over everybody. So
no injury timeouts on this, huh?
No, your man was injured and they're like, tough luck, buddy. We're going to score on you.
Sucks to be you, bro.
Sucks to
Yeah, I
be
think
you.
unless it's a head injury, they won't stop a play.
And
I saw a TikTok of this dude who was like on the floor, like getting medical attention, and they're like, his head's like bleeding, and they're like tending to him, and he like bats away the medic and like runs over and makes a tackle because someone had broken away, and they were like running towards him. I was like, this is a savage sport. What the fuck, man? You can't even be injured in peace.
I remember last year at Big Fest.
That's how it goes.
This is how it goes. Like I remember last year at Big Fest, the tennis tournament. One of our players, Frank, went down with a leg injury. And man, the other team definitely took advantage. Like as soon as that injury happened, they broke through. And the closest person to them was Frank, who was not about to hop up from the medics attending to him. So they scored. Let me tell you.
Brutal.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer. So yeah, be on your P's and Q's when you're playing tens. Anyway, Utah wasn't done though, as we know them. They're a good team. They were here to just take it in. What is this ball movement, man? Like that's just so beautiful. And then he just flies through that gap. Now, I would love to see a little bit more aggressive defense out of Dominguez here. Look at Dominguez over here in the corner. Come on, man. You were 13, got to be communicating. There's no way that Chen should just run through your gap. Like, what is going on?
He was ready for the pass, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but better communication when you're 13. Someone's got to make that tackle.
Right.
He wasn't aware. I don't think he was aware the guy was on the back side. But he had help down there. I don't think he saw that.
Either way, not the kind of stuff you want to see at Chicago, but to be fair, I didn't see this whole game, but based on the score, I think it's fair to say that Chicago plays a much better defense throughout this game. Because you can see it right here, 19-24, they're already past the 80-minute mark, which means that if Utah gets this ball, they're going to try to kick it out and just win the game because they're up by 5. But if Chicago scores, they got a chance to score and then kick a conversion, which would win the game for them. And a loss, for context, if Utah loses this game, they are knocked out of the playoffs.
If Utah gets the stop, they have one more week of possibility.
Then look at Dominguez. He's just like, 2 isn't enough for me. I'll take the half turn.
And that's going to knock
you just plow through 3 people, guys?
24.
Tired Utah boys right there. And yeah, Dominguez
running.
Houston
just decided he wanted to win this game, dude. Guys scored 3 tries throughout this game.
Cost the
Look at this.
And
So
Chicago
that's 1, 2,
win all year.
3.
Dude,
Three
bounces
fucking
off
tackles.
everybody.
Just absolutely plowed through that defense, man. That was crazy. Yeah, they do make this kick. Yep.
So is Chicago already out of playoffs, or does this keep them in
Oh,
contention?
yeah, no, they've been out for a while. That was their second win overall, but it was still fucking sweet to see. It's been a rough season being a Chicago fan. They've been close in like most of their games, so it was cool to see them finally pull it off and be able to close out a game. Huh, Dan?
Trying to get their feet under.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've talked about it. Like they're definitely playing well. It's just missteps here and there that have taken them out of some games.
For sure.
So it seems like they finally kind of buttoned up some things and kind of held on. So yeah, big win for the team.
Huge
I would imagine
loss
if you
for
were there, you probably would have stormed the field and hugged your boy out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that game was in Utah, so it was a hostile environment to go into and get a win because, the Utah fans knew that they needed that win. With them losing that one, the SaberCats are able to clinch their playoff spot, which I don't know if that's exactly what we wanted, Dan, but it is what happened to us.
We'll get to that one in a minute.
Fair enough. But either way, another fantastic game that took place this weekend was Seattle versus the Free Jackets. The Free Jackets get off to an early start because they do like to score.
And Cities.
But then Seattle has to consider the game in general. Watch this play by out here, dude.
Again to the right behind the back.
You see that pass?
Here they come in.
Let me back that up for you guys in case you missed that. Watch this little dude right here.
Again to the right behind the back, almost.
Wow!
Here they come in. Dan Krill with another.
That was so beautiful, dude. Holy shit. He had another one later on in the game, almost exactly like that. Didn't quite lead to a try, but that is just ball handling at its finest. I didn't show a lot of the highlights of the Free Jackets scoring because they're just a methodical team that just does their thing. So there's a lot of them just being close and not fucking it up and scoring, which is kind of what we've seen out of them all year, right, Dan?
Yeah, no, they're a pretty disciplined team. That's why they score so long at 63 points.
Exactly. But this was them out there enjoying the open field a little bit. Look at that take by number 4. Absolutely beautiful. That's how you break through the line. It starts making the defense uncomfortable. Almost an intercept, but not quite. Number 6 is going to take it to the house. See you guys. So beautiful play by that number 7. First of all, preventing the interception. Second of all, finding the number 6 inside for a beautiful line. Like we said, the Free Jackets just do a lot of things right. I mean, you see they're up at 27-7 at one point here against Seattle. This is Seattle, which is a good team as well. They do have a little bit more to say in these final 20 minutes of Seattle. This is a hell of a run.
Oh, that is absolutely just play right.
Sometimes these little fast guys will make you all look silly, man. And it's just a beautiful line by these guys.
This is better start from Seattle.
Like 1, 2, there's a 3. What were you saying, Dan?
I said I don't think he even has a number on the back of his kit.
I noticed that too. I wonder what that's about. But either way,
he's a deep sub.
They got another score here, but it was kind of too little, too late, and then the Free Jackets actually put up another try as well. So I think we just are seeing a very, very fantastic Free Jackets team. I think a lot of, besides like the Legion and some of these other teams out there in the West, I'd be real curious to see who could take them down.
I mean, it could be a preview of the finals.
I think so. The Iron Workers absolutely took care of business here against Atlanta. The only reason we even really have this highlight here is because here at Sportside Compian we don't believe in sixes. But you can see this is within the first minute of play.
5 meters. Spilled quickly, and Nero's got it. And a chance to head upfield and gain some territory. Some phases, some
Free Jackets
speed.
out, and look at that speed. Look at that speed, man. Like, what can they do against such retro pace? That is 1 minute and 8 seconds into the game, boys, and it didn't get much better for Atlanta from there, did it, Dan?
No, it didn't. I mean, it's still hanging tough. A 15-point loss isn't terrible, but it was a game that New York needed to win, especially heading into the game, coming off a DC loss. It gave them an opportunity to take the second seed in the East. Now, obviously, all playoff spots are taken, and it's just down to seeding at this point. So that was a big win.
So the Iron Workers are already in?
Yeah, they clinched the last spot.
Okay.
So
No,
so they're in. They got the last spot in. Yeah, and they jumped DC to the second seed because DC dropped Houston. So
Houston. It was a rough game for them.
Yeah, for sure. It was 31-7. It was just a tough game all around. I mean,
we can get to that one in just a minute.
For both sides.
Let's kind of go through these real quick. So, one that we didn't cover was San Diego just put a whooping down on the Toronto. Not much to say there, other than that San Diego continues to look really good. We kind of talked a little bit about this. The Ironworkers took care of business against Atlanta to go ahead and clinch their playoff spot. They're sitting at number 2 right now. Interesting close game between the Dallas Jackals and NOLA Gold. Jackals look like they had a lot of opportunities to win this one, but you know what it is with the Jackals? I feel like they're really close on a lot of these games, and then suddenly they just have like an onslaught where they just decide to play some terrible defense for like 20 minutes, and they let in like a boatload of tries and just kind of gets out of control. Like I think they were even up 10-3 at some point in this game, and then they just let 2 tries go unanswered. So I think they're a team at this point that's getting into their heads a little bit whenever you're that young of a franchise and you're still, grasping for these wins. Like this was one they could have taken. Then we got Old Glory and the Sabercats. Now, we kind of talked briefly about this one, Dan, but what happened with Old Glory? Did they just decide to sit everyone after they clinched the playoffs, or what?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a fitting situation, because they have to, they have to win out to pretty much clinch a home playoff game. I mean, Houston's a good team. They've been having their struggles to getting their pieces together. So I think, it's that time of the year where if Houston's going to make it in, which they did, with the Utah loss and their win, this was the time to do it. I don't know. I don't know if it's lax laurels because DC's already clinched their spot, but there's still a lot for them to play for. You also want to get that hot hand heading into the playoffs, but
sure.
I was reading some of the pages. Of course, I didn't have the chance to watch that game, but I was reading some of the pages, and it was just sloppy defense and missed opportunities, which have plagued them all year. So, it's kind of same story, different day, right?
And one thing I would say, I've definitely said some stuff about the Houston Sabercats at this point because they haven't quite been able to beat the good teams. But when that offense gets going, man, they have a really, really good offense. And they have like a lot of guys who can make people miss in space. I just think they make stupid mistakes sometimes. And against the better teams, you can't do that. So I think that's been their struggle so far, but who knows? Maybe they'll turn it on in the playoffs. I'm pulling for a Houston team, Good old Texas. So getting into some USFL action, Pittsburgh Maulers go ahead and take care of business against the Panthers. If I had to guess, this is another case of quarterback from Michigan just getting uncomfortable again. Pittsburgh Maulers do what they do best, which is kick piles of field goals and play really good defense, it seems like.
Yeah, no, I was actually watching that game. It was a lot of forced throws. I mean, one of the interceptions was tipped by the wide receiver, but he's not playing smart ball. He was under pressure a lot. They really couldn't get the running game going either. So it's just a recipe for disaster now. The sad part is the Michigan defense played really well. Like they were getting sacks. As you see, holding them to several field goals. But, when the Michigan had a decent field, they couldn't do anything with it. So, it is what it is. Heading into the week, if the Panthers had won and Philly had won, Michigan would have clinched their playoff spot. Now they don't. Now Pittsburgh has the tiebreaker over Michigan because they beat them earlier in the year, too. So now Michigan's putting themselves in a dangerous situation heading into last week. So obviously not where they wanted to be heading into their game with Philly.
Oof. Not looking up for them then either. Corey, do you have anything to say about how the Pittsburgh Maulers love to kick field goals? They got to be leading the league in field goals by now, right, Dan?
They have to be.
They got to be, dude. There's no way they're not. 19
they scored one touchdown, and then 12 of their points were all field goals.
Like this guy's kicking 5 to 4 field goals every game. It was crazy.
And the sad part is they have to be.
As soon as the season's over, they're like, this guy doesn't miss. He's in the NFL.
Yeah, I know the guy's good.
Yeah, And the thing is, like, they had some tremendous field position, and they still couldn't get a touchdown out of it. Like, that's the worst.
Yeah, well, their
part.
defense
So,
sets
like,
them up really well with field position a lot of times. And like you said, yeah, they just can't seem to capitalize.
and it's going to catch up to them at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat the good teams like that, which is why they're 3-6.
Yeah.
Corey, before we move on to some more coverage here, do you have a non-sponsor sponsor for us today?
Not really. I'm kind of in a new location. So I
Okay.
don't really have any obscure items near me.
That's fine. Well, people, have an excellent non-sponsor sponsor for you. It's actually a returning non-sponsor, and that is Body Armor Water. This is alkaline water. You know, as Corey's mentioned, alkaline is good stuff for you. Electrolytes, you know, so it's a little bit above the average water, okay? And if you want to have your body have some armor, give it water so it'll be hydrated, especially in these hot days, ladies and gentlemen. It's hot out there. You could be dehydrated and not even know it, you know, and be like a little bit extra cranky. Maybe try chugging a whole bottle of water. And that way, at least you can be like going to the bathroom and such. At least you have something to do. Fucking losers. All right, moving on.
You got a headache, chug some water.
The breaker is just absolutely broke that showboat. Huh? Maybe? No? All right, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
no, like, you know, we were.
The showboat's from
Memphis, bro.
Memphis.
Memphis? Is
They're one of the
Memphis
few
like...
teams.
They
Oh, it's
replaced
Memphis.
Steven's beloved Tampa Bay Bandits.
It's not right. But they got their ass kicked at home in Memphis. That's not great, Dad. They're one of the few teams
Yeah,
that
no, I
have a
mean,
home field.
But the thing is, New Orleans was so hot to begin the year, and then they fell off. So it's nice to kind of see them figure something out and get it back together.
That defense
Sorry
is
for
playing
our
lights
good
out.
friend of the show, Todd Haley. Yeah, they've been playing phenomenal to that regard. So, you know, it was nice to see them kind of get back in step. But I was surprised it was as bad as it was because Memphis has been a pretty solid team over the last 5-6 weeks. So
They couldn't get anything going, huh?
No, they couldn't get anything going. I definitely didn't see that coming. I mean, Memphis had 5 turnovers, so that's going to stall anything you do all day.
Damn.
So that,
yeah,
I mean,
no, that's tough to come back from.
That kind of writes itself. Yeah, it's hard to come back from that.
Especially against like our boy Bethard, who ever since the coverage of hasn't been too great, but like he does throw a lot of completions. A lot of open. I saw some of these highlights. There was a lot of wide open down the middle field catches. So it's hard to win games that way.
Unless you're Trevor Lawrence, then you can come back from 4 turnovers, maybe not 5, but 4 you can come back from.
Shoot, fucking Trevor.
And only 3 of them were interceptions, so
it's not all his fault, all right.
2 others, not all his fault.
Although that is impressive coming back from 3 interceptions and leading your team to a win, like some iron will right there. But the Memphis quarterback did not have that type of iron will, Dan, and he fell in flames. Anyway, moving on.
I just figured out the breakers is their waves. You know, like when a wave breaks. I just figured out what their logo was, and I just thought I'd share with the class, you know?
You know, Corey, I'm not sure I had really put that together, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Like White Claw. White Claw is like the waves. Also, it's a wave.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that one either.
We're learning so much today.
So much. It's like class.
It is, except for better. We're studying, you know, sports and, you know, White Claw, apparently.
Right.
Did you guys realize that the inside of the game?
What was that, Dan? You went into disco roboto space. I think I did too. Maybe I'm frozen. That's not good. And welcome back to Sports by Compian. You may or may not have seen some strange things at the end of our last video. And that was fully intentional. Anyway, moving on, we got to hop back into this USFL recount here. The Stallions absolutely took it to the Gamblers. Gamblers managed to put up some field goals, which, getting back to what we were saying about the Maulers, not a great way to win games. You know, Corey?
Nah, man. Gotta put up those points. Want to share your screen there, Steve?
Yeah. So, yeah. that was basically what happened here. Stallions once again take care of business. They are sitting at 7-2, great spot to be in. They lead the league. The Generals suddenly showed some signs of life, and I believe they are still in playoff contention, right, John?
Yeah, I believe so. If Philly had won the game, they would have locked up one of the playoff spots. Birmingham did that with their win. So, yeah, right now it's wide open in the North. And let's see how
Can we
crazy
take a
next
look
week
at the
is.
schedule?
Yeah, let's see what's going on with Week 10. So Week 10, they got the Maulers, Field Goal Kings, and I guess the champion of that, the loser will probably be out of the playoff hunt. Winner will probably have a good chance of getting in. The Showboats are going to need a good win against Stallions here, coming off their loss against the Breakers. Because what is it, 2 per division or conference?
Yeah, 2 per division, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, the Gamblers are also in the South, right?
Yeah. Gamblers at this point, they're going to be winning in because they would have the tiebreaker. I believe have the tiebreaker for Memphis, and then obviously if they beat the Gamblers, they're going to end up with a better record there.
Good for them.
Yeah,
Stars
Philly
once again
really,
have a chance to clinch, right?
Yeah, so
I think
Philly
we're right into the playoffs,
right now
right?
Philly's winning in. They have the easiest path, and then everybody else is kind of shuffling around. I would imagine though, if Philly wins, obviously they're in. Michigan would fall to 3-7. So then whoever wins the Pittsburgh jersey game would be in.
It's crazy that Jersey might have a chance to get in after just getting wrecked over the last couple of weeks, and now they might just sneak into the playoffs. It's hilarious.
Maybe they'll run the table. Maybe old Tree Trunks will carry them the way.
Meanwhile, you got everyone in the South winning games, desperately fighting for these playoff spots, and it's probably just going to be the Stallions and the Breakers again. Strong performance out of the Showboats and Gamblers, but it doesn't look like it's enough, Dan.
Yeah, no, clearly doesn't matter. The old XFL problem too. The best teams aren't getting in. The playoffs are broken. I hate that. The 7-9 Seahawks went in and beat the Saints on Beastquake. It happens every handful of years in almost any league, or the year that these teams sneak in at 8-8. Well, it can't be 8-8 anymore. But look at the Giants when they won their 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
They were not good teams.
9-7.
They snuck in and got hot. Yeah, they snuck in as wild cards and rolled the table. Green Bay did the same thing. They rolled in as a wild card team too.
We saw the Renegades just do it. Nobody was picking the Renegades to win.
Happened in
the Renegades. Yeah, the Renegades got hot at the end. And, a large part of it was on that trade for Luis Perez.
Right.
Turn that team around. They weren't going to do it without him. But yeah, I don't care what anybody thinks. The playoffs are not broken. There is 4 teams per division. No shit. Someone probably has a losing record that gets there.
Right.
That's probably.
It's not like we have 16 or. Yeah, it's not like we have 16 or 30 some teams where it's a little spread out. But let's just be honest here. Like we said before when this all started, we have football through the end of July or mid-July. Just be happy.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Well, hey, getting into some hockey that we have going on. The old Panthers are fighting for their lives.
I want to run something by you guys. So, of your knowledge that you have currently of the Steelers, what do you think their record will be?
The Steelers?
Yeah.
I can see them being a double-digit win team, in the 10s or 11.
They were. Yeah, they almost pulled it off last year. Gotten a few more pieces. I think the streak continues on no losing season.
Yeah.
For top one.
That's what I'm saying. They just don't lose. Even when they have nobody there, they still do shit. So Frankie, he's been on the show before, huge Steelers fan. He is talking about putting down a rather substantial bet on them going past the line, 9-8. And he pitches this to me. I'm like, that makes absolute sense. They'll definitely get 9-8 because they never do worse than that. But then he told me how much he wanted to bet, and then I got a little nervous for him, but I still like believe in the cause. So I was debating if I should put 100 on it as well, just because it's probably gonna happen. Like,
$100 isn't much. Go ahead, do it.
right.
No, hold on. But what does he want to put down?
He's talking like $6,000. He said he's gonna. It's in his words, it's an investment. He's this confident in it that he thinks it's an investment, and even if they lose, he said it'll make the season a lot more fun for him. And I'm like, man,
yeah, dude,
that shit's crazy.
I think I won't.
But all right.
Idea. That sounds like a bad idea. Don't
So,
lose 6,000.
Yeah, that's so much money. Like, I can't sign off.
A lot of money, man.
I can't sign off on that either.
Look,
would it be historic for Drummond to suddenly not have a winning record? Yes, but am I willing to put $6,000 on it? No.
That's what I'm saying. So I had the same reaction where I was like, yeah, that'll definitely happen. And you hear the amount and you're like, nah.
Dude, do like 1,000. If you're super confident in it, do 1,000, do 2,000, do something that's not going to wreck you, dude.
Oh, I'm not going to tell him how much to put down. He's set in his ways, and I'm just like, cool, man. I'm going to be rooting for the Steelers. Probably harder than I'm rooting for the Cowboys this year because really don't want you to lose $6,000, bro.
That is a lot of money.
The question is, what is the payout? Like, what would his payout be?
It's just 1-to-1.
So you make $6,000.
So
he makes $6,000.
So then I guess the real question is,
I feel like you could get better odds.
If he goes through, yeah, that's weird. So if he goes through with this, can we get like weekly check-ins by Frankie to see how nervous he is?
Absolutely.
Like at what point, and like what week of the season does it like start to set in? He's like, oh crap, like this might not happen.
What if they go like 0-4 to start? Oh man.
Dude, I want, like, when I heard about this, I was like, this sounds amazing. I want in for obviously a much more reasonable amount of money. But then I asked him, like, well, what's the money line on the Cowboys? I think it was actually if they go 8-9. Like, I think they can be -1 because he said the Cowboys, they only have to be 9-8. I was like, we only got to be like one game better than the fucking Steelers. I'm willing to take that bet as well. Like,
That was also should be pretty good as long as Prescott can stay healthy. I can see them winning 9 games.
Dude, even if he goes down, you still got Cooper Rush.
True, you got the rush. They got the rush over there, Dan.
Yeah, we got rush hour still, man. We still got rush hour. So me, not being a betting man, never betted anything more than $1 on the Super Bowl. I'm contemplating, doing 2 $100 bets for these two because I think it would just make the season funnier. But
I'm probably getting on that too, Corey. If you do it, let me know. I'll put a bet on the Bucs to do something. Because we're gonna be pretty terrible, so like I'm here for it. Maybe there's like some line out there like, hey, they're not gonna get 5 wins. I'm like, we're definitely gonna get 5 wins. How dare you?
We'll get 5 wins. But so this is another issue that he was talking about. He was gonna do it through the casino here in Costa Rica, but to do it here, the biggest bet you can put is $250. So he was like, I'd have to get a bunch of people to go in one at a time, and I'll put the bets individually. Or he said he knows this guy. He's really big into poker, so he spends a lot of time around casinos. So he knows a guy who's a professional bettor. Like apparently that's how he makes most of his money is by sports betting. So he's going to ask him what site to use to place the bet.
There you go. That's a much better solution than putting it with the casino.
Right. We're all just kind of on standby.
Can you do multiple bets though?
I think if
you did like 2. But but if you went to the same place, you couldn't make 2 different bets of $2,500 for the Steelers.
I don't think so. I think
I don't gamble enough to know.
Yeah.
Either way, we're getting off track here. Let's wrap up with our best luck.
We're gonna get into some crazy bets though. We're gonna find out
do it, man.
We're gonna put down some bets, man.
Damn right, we're all putting down bets. Let's do it. Maybe not with that ridiculous sportsbook. Oh, look at that! The Panthers get on the board just as we're watching. So the Panthers are over here fighting for their lives, down 3-1 in this series. It's been just tough sledding for anybody playing the Vegas Knights, man. As Taylor's been on here mentioning, their goalie just doesn't really believe in letting people score on him. He thinks it's a bad idea, Corey, and he's not here for it. So it makes it really hard for teams trying to win, if you can't score, on the goalie. So, yeah, Vegas doesn't put a lot of shots on net, but when they do, they go in, man. This team scored a boatload of goals. They were just up 2-0. Some life out of the Panthers. Will they be able to survive, Dan?
No. As much as I hate saying that,
Do you think this is the end for them tonight?
I think Vegas closes out tonight. Matthew Tkachuk's out with an upper body injury, so that's a huge loss on the Panthers side. Not only has he been very productive for them this season, especially in the playoffs, the dude's fiery and he fights, he lays the hits, he brings the energy. So losing someone of that tempo on the ice will definitely show itself at some point during this game.
Are they in Vegas right now?
Yeah, they're in Vegas.
And it's tough, like, watching all these games in Florida, and Vegas just rolls in there and it wins anyway. Really disheartening for the fans, Corey, you know? And to be fair, their only win in this series was an overtime win. It was on Thursday. Quite fun to watch, you know? It was good to see them finally pull off a win, but man, like, they are fighting tooth and nail for anything they can get from this Vegas team. So you might be right, Dan. This may be the end of the Panthers run. It'd be funny to see the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals both have the same, you know, outcome, 4-1 series. So I guess for that sake, it'd be interesting.
Did you guys see how unconcerned Jokic was about the win?
I've heard about it.
Oh my God, yeah, because he was like, someone mentioned that the parade was on Thursday. He's like, I just want to go home.
He's like, no, what? Thursday? I have to go home. Like, you can go home on Friday. He's like, I'm just learning about this.
He's just
you see, like, in the locker room, everyone's like shaking, like fucking bubbly, getting all excited stuff. You see him there, just kind of like they mentioned his stats, and he's like, what? And he like reads off his stats, and he's like, that? He's like, yeah, you're only the fourth person in NBA history to do that. And he's like, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, he just
thumbs up.
He just wants to get back to his off-season regimen. No, dude, you've heard what he does all off-season, right?
What, like fight bears? Is that what that's what they do in Russia. They fight bears.
Dude, he just drinks beer and rides his horses. And
dude, he apparently
one of the other players was like, "No, he does." Yeah, that's the funny part. Like, and like one of his teammates was like, "Yeah, the dude just drinks beer, plays with his horses all off season, and then like a couple weeks before the season, he decides to get back in shape, and then goes and plays in another season." Like,
he literally treats it like a job.
I wish I could do that. Like, just flick a switch, be like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, time to go play the next year." Like,
dude, playing in the
Jesus
NBA
Christ,
is a fucking day job for him. He's like, I think everyone hates their job. Some people say they love it. Liars say they love their job, but I think everyone hates their job. And I'm like, what? No, dude.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, dude. The guy legit hates basketball. I don't know if he hates it, but like it's a job to him. It's not like fun.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, you know, did the job. You get to go home.
Hard to like a guy like that, to be honest. Like, what?
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot coming out about this. The only thing I really knew about him was that he was a Joker. And I was like, that's a pretty sweet nickname. And I kind of appreciated him not being, like, super showy and stuff. But the rest of this sounds pretty hoaxy, man. Like, what? So you're just supernaturally talented?
Yeah, dude, I love it. He's just living his best life. That's what I love.
Yeah, fair
enough. He's gonna live his best life come Friday. Come Friday when he gets to fly home, then he'll be living his best life.
I mean, no, let's not be honest. Friday's gonna suck for him. Flying all the way to Russia is probably gonna be. Although he's taking a private jet. Let's be honest. He's taking a private jet, so that will be a lot easier.
No, so he said on air if he could get the team jet to fly him. He was like, oh, you know, I want to ask whoever, and he's like, I did it. I said it on air. Now, you know, I put the pressure on the team manager to have him lend me the jet so I can fly home sooner.
There you go. Dude, he's like if you just read, like he's just a huge dude. It's like the best part. It's like you would think he's like 6'11" and 284. Like you would think he has to do a lot of work to like stay in shape. Like, meanwhile, there's like a million pictures online right now of him just getting drawn by a horse while drinking a beer. And I'm like, it's 28.
Oh wow.
Crazy.
Well, good for him. Already an NBA title.
Our lives, boys.
Well, we're not as naturally talented as him, or naturally gifted in general.
Clearly not.
He's 6'11", so you know, can't hold yourself too bad. Like, what are you gonna do?
Hey, look, there is that new surgery now.
Dude, I
know. We can all get that.
I heard about that surgery. I've heard of it. It sounds
It's really bad.
Insane.
No,
Insane.
sounds really
like
bad.
Yeah.
you get like a couple inches and you gotta like break your leg every day. Oh, it sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's as bad
Like,
as it gets.
Well, we'll be
You
NBA
gotta-
players in about 5 years.
All right. You let us know how that goes, Dan, and we will follow up with you because by then you will already be in your 30s, so it's going to be a long road to NBA, even if you're tall.
Thank you.
Anyway, we wish you the best with that. As we wish Frankie the best of his bets, we hope the Florida Panthers can fight it within themselves and not get knocked out. Watch the Golden Knights score again before we're even done here. Corey, Dan, any final words here for the fine people of Sports by Compian?
Don't do
Do what
crack.
makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy.
Unless crack makes you
Unless
happy.
it's crack, dude. In which case, you should probably not do it anymore. Like,
Oh, my God.
you only think it makes you happy. It's not really making you happy. Is that what we're trying to say, Corey? Like that.
Yeah, exactly. That.
Somehow
Anyway.
we just did the most opposite statement.
But, yeah, don't do crack, people. For real.
Don't do it.
Don't do
Bad.
Sports by Compian out.
Crack kills.